Harry Kane has spoken publicly for the first time since those rumours arose that he wanted to leave Tottenham Hotspur. He said, "You do not know what the chairman is thinking. He might want to sell me. If he thinks he can get £100 million for me, I'm not going to be worth that in the next 2 or 3 years. I hope we have a good enough relationship. I have given the club 16 years of my life, so I hope we can have an honest conversation and see where we are at." Jules still with us. Shaka joins the show as well, wearing his pyjamas for no particular reason. Jules, I want to start with you, that this kind of, look, I've given a lot to this club. Now I think they should give me the opportunity to leave if I want to. This is very romantic. But from Daniel Levy's perspective, it doesn't work that way, does it?
No, it doesn't, but I'm sure Harry Kane knows exactly that as well. He's an intelligent guy. Even if he'd never moved clubs, he never had to go through a transfer. He knows how things work. He knows that his interest might be very different to his club's interest, to his chairman's interest, to his owner interest. Of course it is. I think this is a way, and we rarely hear a player who's asked to move, who put in a transfer request, although he hasn't done it that technically, but still he's asked the club to leave, then going on record publicly and talk like this. I think it's a refreshing thing. It's good. And I think he knows exactly how it works and what's going to work or not. And maybe that's just a way of him saying, hey, look, putting almost Daniel Levy in front of his responsibilities with the fans, saying, I've given you so much, especially in the last 7 years as a professional, that now maybe it's your turn to send back to me the favor and letting me go, because I want to win all those trophies, because I want to be as good as Messi and Ronaldo, because I've got all that ambition that I don't feel I can fulfill at Spurs. Please understand me, that kind of thing.
Spurs are a business, though, Shaq, surely. You know, it's nice sentimentality, and it's nice you've given us 7 years. Now we've paid you one heck of a lot of money during your time here. You haven't been playing for free. So, like, with that sort of rhetoric, I find it strange that Spurs will maybe see this and go, you know what, he's right.
I think this is less about Daniel Levy thinking that Harry Kane is right, and it's more about explaining a position to the fans. Listen, Harry Kane has spent his entire career at Spurs, and he has been highly compensated of late. On the one hand, I'm a little bit surprised that when he signed that deal 3 years ago, you signed a 6-year deal without any kind of an escape clause in it. I thought that very surprising. On the other, you now find yourself in a position where Spurs haven't progressed. You can make the argument that they've regressed from when he first signed that deal 3 years ago. And now, I'm just about 28 years old, he's wondering what next for him. Where does that silverware come? And while I think you could push for that move behind closed doors, as many do, oftentimes that leaves the fans a little bit aggrieved with how things happen. But coming out and stating his position publicly, I think goes away to appeasing the fans and their own opinions of Harry Kane, more so than forcing Daniel Levy further down the road of making this transfer happen.
He's appealing to the goodwill of Tottenham and his relationship with the club. And he is trying to take advantage of that good relationship. And he's saying, look, I'm not a troublemaker. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to do my job. However, let me tell you something. You can really get a lot of money from me if you sell me. And the only reason he's doing this is to give, we talk about escape clause to Spurs and saying, look, I'm already positioning this as I want to leave. You guys, this is smart business for you. So it's win-win for everybody. And then the fans are like, yeah, Harry, you're right. Even though you're not, because you're under contract and you still have 3 years left in that contract. And while it is a good, compelling case, if you're Spurs, you make the decision that suits your club the best. Yeah. That's why you have contracts in place. So the same way that we say that teams and should honor the contract of players, well, players should honor the contract from teams. Now, I understand Harry Kane's position. I get it. I'm with you, Harry. I understand that he's appealing to the goodwill. I'm not sure it's going to work if the numbers don't work, and that's what Spurs is going to look at, the numbers.
What happens next, Shaq, if Spurs said, look, we're sorry, we're not going to sell you?
Harry Kane stays on their books and probably just winds his contract down, and which means Spurs gets absolutely nothing for him. Listen, on the other side of that same kind of negotiating tactic, you've seen players kind of be held on to, and mope and cause problems in dressing room. Listen, I don't know Harry Kane from Adam, but I don't get the impression that he'll do that. I think Harry Kane will continue to do as he has been for Spurs. He'll see out his 3 years. He'll be 31 years old and moving on a free transfer. And on a free transfer, maybe he gets the kind of money that he would now. Maybe he has just enough time left in his career to deliver on some of that silverware that he wishes for.
What does your gut say about it all, Jules?
I think the key here could be the next manager at Spurs. Let's say someone comes in with a lot of charisma who can have this chat with Harry Kane and say, okay, listen, give us 1 more year. We're putting this new project in place. We need you to do this and this, and make him believe again. Because I think he believed under Pochettino, and I stopped believing a long time ago, maybe when Pochettino was sacked. And that now he's in a state of mind where he's like, you know what, this club is not moving forward in the way I thought he would, in the way we were maybe 3 or 4 years ago, where the future looked really bright. It doesn't look bright right now. The future is supposed to look gloomy. They don't have a manager. They've got their best player, their captain, their talisman, everything you want, who wants to go because they don't win anything and because that future is gloom. So maybe the guy who's coming in, whether that's Eric Ten Hag, whether that's Ralf Rangnick, I don't know, Roberto Martinez, whoever, speaks to him and goes, you know what, I want you to feel inspired. I want you to be part of this project. Maybe he can have, okay, 1 more year, and then you let me go next year. A bit like what Cristiano did at United, for example, where you agree 1 year, and after that, you open the door for me.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.